And now here's Jay.
And yes, here is Jay, and Jay does endorse these ideas on the show. Should you? Well, only if you understand them and are educated about them. So not just automatically. No. So, let me get my my monitor so I can take a look at myself. Okay. Welcome again to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490. I can't believe the year is half over. I guess it was on the last show, pretty much. It seems like we just did this show a few minutes ago, not like a week ago. I wonder if as you get older, time seems to go by faster. I know that happened to me over the last 75 years anyway, but so be it. But we're going to contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. We're going to get into some taxes with Laurie Arteaga, and we're going to discuss changes, possible future changes, and what's been happening and how to handle, all of that good stuff. So we want to make sure that we absolutely meet your needs. What am I asking for? Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to the director of the show. I'm supposed to be the producer. So anyway, absolutely meet your retirement needs. Top off your tank right now and be able to make it all the way. Is the reverse mortgage the best way to do that? Well, in some situations it is, and in some situations it may not be. So, but is it still good? In my opinion, of course it is. So be sure to give me a call, or, okay, here's the call, 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And we can talk about flying saucers. We can talk about anything you like. Bigfoot's another good one. But also, it's a good place to talk about finance and your particular situation, because everybody has a different situation. Remember, look me up at theeducatedretirement.com or theeducatedretirementradio.com. I don't want to be too confusing. Theeducatedretirement.com is fine, or Dr. Heckham is a little bit shorter, DRHECM, because I are the guru of Heckham. Heckham standing for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. Heckham. So remember, the future is now, as Hudsucker would say. And, that's great, just the way it is. So 866-955-2233. When you get to that website, take a look at a few things on there. The YouTube channel is catching up. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to it. And there's also a place where you can listen to this show live, as you can on the KMET site. And as you can on the KMET site, lots of the past shows are also there. And again, the YouTube is catching up. And it should be there in about 2 more weeks. I just don't want to overload people who have subscribed, because once you put something on YouTube and they ask for reminders, it keeps bugging them. So not over and over, but once. So we had a premiere today at noon for Golden Age, Golden Years, same thing as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so lots of professionally written information, and especially a lot of videos on that website. Short videos that I hope will help you. Now, I just did a webinar for Facebook that's about 30 minutes, and I'll be getting that up there too, and you can watch that little by little or whatever. People on Facebook are going to have to give their some of their information to do that, but you guys will not. And of course, even if I get any of your information, I'm never going to abuse it. I do not keep bugging you. I get bugged every day because we have a reverse mortgage. We continuously get letters, cards, and phone calls. Now, my wife doesn't put up with them on the phone too much. I do because I understand what they're going through. But again, another thanks to Daryl McCants, who does recognize his show on each of his own shows, the California Business Report, that he shares with Yvette Walker. And he puts me on his advisory team along with Bill Morris of UCI. So that Southern California Business Report is on at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. And what is today? Today is National Sugar Cookie Day. Now, since I used to weigh almost 300 pounds, I used to eat these all the time. In fact, I don't know, would you like one? They're good. You know what? They are good. I'm not going to eat one because, as you know, I don't really have enough teeth to get it done by the end of the show. But today we are acknowledging the ever popular sugar cookie. And this is really true. The sugar cookie is like vanilla ice cream of cookies. Everybody likes it, but very few claim it as their favorite. Me, I'm going for the oatmeal raisin, especially the softer ones. But after all, it competes with those oatmeal raisins, chocolate chip, peanut butter, snickerdoodle cookies. I'm not sure I know what that is. And it's one of the easiest cookies to decorate for any holiday because it's usually flat and is still great just by itself. In the U.S., the sugar cookie is believed to have originated in the mid-1700s. And I had to look at that again and say, 1700s, you sure you're talking about America? Yeah. It's after 1492 or whenever. Nazareth, Pennsylvania. German settlers created a round, crumbly, buttery cookie that came to be known as the Nazareth sugar cookie. They baked their cookies in the shape of a keystone, which we don't anymore, the state's symbol. Also, it's Collector Car Appreciation Day. So this day celebrates the role of automotive restoration and collection play in American society. It's music, it's literature, excuse me, photography and cinema. The car took us from rough country roads to highways and byways. The car collectors restore and maintain old metal engines and blinkers once rusting in a barn back to life. And you're probably familiar with, you may not watch, but you're probably familiar with American Pickers. And they do have a bunch of those finds in there. They call them barn finds. There may be car cruises, shows, and other events close to you. Here are some suggested car movies you may want to watch. The Great Race. Christine, now that's cool. Oh, we do have it here. And that was, of course, directed by John Carpenter from a Stephen King novel. Really cool. Back to the Future, which, of course, we all know over and over. American Graffiti. I always got mixed up who the Fonz was. I used to think it was Harrison Ford, but I guess not. But still, Harrison Ford was definitely there. Ford versus Ferrari, which is an excellent movie if you haven't seen it, and Duel, which we talked about a couple weeks ago because it had to do with Festus. What's his name from Gunsmoke?
Dennis Weaver.
Dennis Weaver was in it, and that might have been. I always took it as Steven Spielberg's first feature-length film, which I think was made for television, but then hit the theaters. It is good, by the way. The first Collector Car Appreciation Day was recognized on July the 9th, 2020. Hundreds of events were staged nationwide with thousands in attendance. They were organized by the Automotive Restoration Market Organization and Hot Rod Industry Alliance, which I guess there is such a thing because selling reproductive parts for those is big business, and I really like that. I mean, I don't own any old cars. I kind of wish I did sometimes. But, it's got to be an extra car. You don't want to have a car that's, 60 years old that you can count on. And of course, we remember Valerie last week and her husband that took that 1926 Buick on that race called Peking to Paris. And wow, what an adventure. So, famous people's birthdays today, not today, July the 3rd. These we couldn't get to last week, but I think they're interesting and we're going to try to catch up. We'll get caught up, don't worry. Tom Cruise was born on July the 3rd, 1962. Tom was born as Thomas Cruise Mapother, Mapother, the fourth in Syracuse, New York, to an electrical engineer and a special education teacher. She may have needed some special education for it. Anyway, Cruise grew up in near poverty and had a Catholic upbringing and described his father as the merchant of chaos. That's kind of cool. Let's take a look at him as a little baby. Isn't that cute? Can't you see a movie star in the making right there? There's Tom. And then as he growed older, and I guess this is one guy we didn't really need to show a picture of, but just in contrast to the last picture. So he described his father as a merchant of chaos and a bully. He was the kind of person where if something went wrong, he would kick you. Cruise spent most of his childhood with his family in Canada and became involved in drama in the 4th grade. I think I took the 4th grade twice. I think I flunked that, but that would have been Kester Elementary School in San Fernando Valley. His mother left his father and took him and his siblings back to the U.S. Cruise attended 15 schools in 14 years. I don't know if that's better or worse than flunking the 4th grade. Anyway, he played football in high school and starred in school plays. He pursued an acting career at 18 and moved to New York City after working as a busboy in New York. He went to L.A. to try out for television roles and began his film career in 1981. And the career maker for him was Risky Business, and I thought that was really a fun movie. I watched it over and over in those days. So be it. Anyway, and I know we have a copy. It's probably Laserdisc or whatever, but who knows anymore. He went on to play in Ridley Scott's film Legend, then Top Gun, and on to be a superstar. Now that house in Top Gun, that's in Oceanside. And I know they built a couple of new, it's been fenced off for the last several years because I get to Oceanside quite a bit. And since the lockdown, I have not. And I wonder, because they built a couple of new resorts there. I don't know. I'm going to have to try to find out. And I will give you a report. Tom Cruise starred in over 70 films and produced 18 of them. He's been nominated 3 times for an Oscar. Hasn't won, not yet. And did you know he is a fencer in his spare time, just like Gene Wilder, which was a big surprise. Japan has an official Tom Cruise Day in October. I don't know about that. So be it. Anyway, Cruise had dyslexia growing up. I still do. And could barely read in high school. His first wife, Mimi Rogers, which at the time I thought was a little bit weird, anyway, introduced him to Scientology. Just to let you know, Mr. L. Ron Hubbard did write science fiction books, and his religion came from the ideas in the science fiction books. So Scientology, a religion which he has been dedicated to, and so was Chick Corea, who we spoke about a few weeks ago and passed away, unfortunately. He won a Freedom Medal of Valor awarded in 2008, the organization's highest honor. And I'm sure he gets honored there because probably it's because of him that a lot of people do join. Cruise here's something funny, he almost starred in the leading role for Iron Man, which went to Robert Downey Jr. He was also almost cast as Edward Scissorhands, which went to Johnny Depp. Speed, which went to Keanu Reeves. Shawshank Redemption, that went to Tim Robbins. What a great movie and great performance Tim did. A Beautiful Mind, which of course Russell Crowe did a great job, even though I would not have thought of him in that role. He always surprises me. Ghost, which went to Patrick Swayze. And here's a short list of films. I'm not sure whether this is on the list, but it should be. It's on the top of my pile. So there we go. Interview with a Vampire. And there's the back of that. This is a Laserdisc. I like the movie. I love the book. I mean, if you get a chance to see that book, see it. Read it. Risky Business, of course, 1983, with director Paul Brickman. Legend, 1985, director Ridley Scott. Film nominated for Academy Award for Best Makeup, Interview with a Vampire, which we just showed you. Directed by Neil Jordan, when Neil Jordan was really rolling hot with The Crying Game, Michael Collins, and co-starred Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, and Kristen Dunst as a little girl. And again, based on the novel by Anne Rice. We got the novel right behind me here somewhere, but no need. Film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. Then there was Mission Impossible, 1996. There we go. I hope we can see that okay with these plastic covers. Do I play Laserdiscs that often? No. But I like to keep them because of the artwork and things like that. And once in a while, you'll find some extra items that you will not find on the little DVDs. Anyway, Mission Impossible, which we just showed, 1996, and followed by 5 more sequels. Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. Director, it's been a while since I've seen that. I need to see this again. Stanley Kubrick, that was his last film. Minority Report, 2002, directed by Steven Spielberg. Nominated for 1 Academy Award, co-starring Colin Farrell, Max von Sydow. And this doesn't show you too much, but Philip K. Dick wrote the story. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, science fiction writer. Sorry, Ron Hubbard, but Philip is number 1 as far as I can remember right now for me. Okay. And then we have War of the Worlds, 2005, Spielberg. I like Spielberg a lot. I thought the beginning parts with the gizmos coming out of the ground were really wonderful. It kind of slowed down for me a bit as it went on. It was a good film, but for me, I'm going to stick with Old Faithful. And I think I had mentioned not that long ago, we got a Criterion 4K with lots of extras and just beautiful stuff on the original one. The original one's fairly short. I recommend you watch it. I mean, and the extras on that are just absolutely wonderful. Edge of Tomorrow, which a lot of people didn't like, but I did. Directed by Doug Liman, who also did Jumper, Born Identity, co-starring Emily Blunt and Bill Paxton. And I don't know that we spoke about this. I think I showed this just the other day for somebody else. But anyway, Magnolia being another one. So I need to remind you that we are listening to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet. 1490 KMET AM radio, the mighty Met. And remember, www.drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com, and 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And then we've got a few more birthdays and some really neat stuff to talk about. We're about to go on break. Nessa Nelly will not be with us today because, as you recall, a couple of weeks ago, she was taking out that communication unit that HAL 9000 had said was going to go bad. And since HAL recommended putting it back, she's out there putting it back in right now. So hopefully she will show up. And we will show up in a few more minutes after a short break with Laurie to talk about taxes, changes in taxes, and very, very important things, I think, when it comes to what we need to know about to be ready for this next year, too. So take care. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I let that music play a little bit because I like it. Anyway, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490. And in this half hour, and maybe a little bit more if we're lucky, we have our great guest, our repeat offender, Laurie Arteaga. I'm pronouncing your last name kind of correct, no?
Yes, it is.
And, you've probably heard her wisdom and experience on taxes in the past. And this time, of course, because of the COVID changes, because of COVID itself, because of the change in administration, all those things, there's so much that you, the listener, and me are going to want to know. So we probably won't even, scratch the surface. But before we do that, Laurie, go ahead and tell everyone about yourself first for those that may not know.
Yes. Hi, Jay. Well, thank you again for having me as your
it's a pleasure.
offender. I appreciate that. It's been a while, so I'm happy.
Well, it's been a while because of what.
Yes, a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, just to let your audience know, I'm an enrolled agent. I'm based out of Orange County. Our business name is Elias Income Tax. We do service all 50 states. So it's my father and I that have our business. I have over 14 years experience. My father has over 30 years experience. Our website is www.eliasincometax.com. And you can reach me directly on my cell phone or our office line. My cell phone is 714-457-6350. Again, 714-457-6350, and our office line, 714-773-4000. But, clients can get a hold of us just by going on the website. So we're authorized to represent clients in any type of collection, audit, back taxes, any type of state issues, power of attorney. So any issue basically relating to the IRS, we can help our clients on.
And the state of California too, right? Franchise tax.
California. Yeah, that's the biggest one. With franchise tax, we're everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're able to help with a lot of people with the franchise tax board as well with their issues. So just as a reminder, the extension deadline for a lot of people that still have not filed, it's for corporations like S corporations, LLCs. It's on September 15th. But for most taxpayers that still haven't filed, it's for October 15th. So, make sure you file, if you haven't filed an extension, make sure you file it at least right away. Some people have told me, oh my God, I even forgot to file an extension. That's okay. Just make sure you get it in right away. The IRS is pretty reasonable, sometimes, at least for the first time.
Let's hope, yeah.
For the first time penalty abatement, they will waive it if it's like your first time filing late. And so they will waive some penalties, or for reasonable cause, they're willing to remove some of those penalties. So I'm able to help with that. So as you know, this year and last year have been really crazy because of the pandemic and, these stimulus checks and unemployment. And I could go on and on. So my goal today is to at least, go over some of the 2021 tax changes that may, pertain to your audience. So hopefully we're able to help answer, some of the questions that I got sent before coming on the radio. So one of the big ones has been the stimulus checks. you know.
Hmm.
For everybody that has not gotten a stimulus check, you can claim it in your 2020 tax return. Some people just maybe didn't even work at all and just didn't get it. It's okay. You could still file a blank tax return just to claim the stimulus.
Oh, I see. And then you'll get the check or the.
Yep. Then you get the
whatever.
direct deposit. Yeah, some people just think because they only got Social Security deposit and for whatever or income and for whatever reason they didn't get it, because I know quite a bit that did not get them. We can claim them. Of course, if they were a dependent by somebody, they can't claim the stimulus.
Because they're dependent of that
Yeah,
person
right,
got the
right,
stimulus. So,
exactly. So the parent, the stimulus goes to the parent as long as, it's a child under 17. Only the third stimulus went to all adults even on the tax return. So just to reiterate, because some people got confused because they ended up being so many stimuluses, they're like, which one did I get? Was it the first? Was it the fourth? Was it the... So just to clarify, the stimulus payments, the first one was $1,200 per person. So a married couple would have gotten $2,400, and it was $500 per child. The second stimulus was $600 each. So let's say you're married with one child, it'd be $600 times 3, $1,800. The third stimulus was $1,400. So, per person. So potentially that one was actually quite a bit for people. That one's the only one that included adults.
we got one stimulus, a smaller amount that was on a credit card kind of thing.
Yeah, most people are getting the second one, that small $600 one on a
That's
credit.
the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. So a lot of people also lost that card. I know, right? So you can still claim it. Just as a warning, though, there have been major delays for anybody that was claiming their stimulus, because you can go to the IRS website, irs.gov, and look at where's my stimulus, or, look for your payment. Or your status of your refund. I'm sorry, that too. They're all delayed. Almost all my clients from the day it was accepted, or even a later date, it's 10 weeks after that. So I just tell people, look, just be patient. It's gonna come. It's just delayed.
So if you have that credit card, use it, spend it up right now.
Use it up. Yep, absolutely.
Then if you lose it, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So might as well use it up. It's, your funds. Now, a lot of people were kind of confused about the $600 one, because California, as you know, gave a California Golden State stimulus. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, so that one, I guess you could count that as a fourth stimulus, but that pertains to California only. So if you made, these started being issued a couple months ago. It's only for taxpayers that made under $30,000 though. Okay. However, they just expanded it for households that made up to $75,000. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people saying, where's the second check? From California. I said, it's not a second check. It's simply an expanded version of that original one that includes now, up to $75,000, and also people with ITINs. That's individual taxpayer identification numbers. That means they don't have a social. They're still eligible for these credits. This expanded credit also is for kids. It includes kids. So if you didn't get it the first time, you'll still get a direct deposit of $500 per child. Actually, I take it back, for only one child. But it's still something, so you just have to be patient. I don't think they've issued what dates yet. Those are going to be coming, but they will. So there's still some relief, for taxpayers. The other big thing that's happening, actually, as of next week, it'll start July 15th. I don't know if you've heard about the expanded child tax credit.
I've heard about it, but you're going to have to explain it.
Yeah, so it's now $3,000, per child instead of $2,000, and if they're under the age of 6, it's $3,600. So it is a great credit. Now, here's a little bit of the issue: is that they are giving direct deposits of $250 if they're under 17, and $300 deposits per child if they're under 6. Now, this isn't just extra money or free money. It actually gets credited. So let's just say you start now, July 15th through December 15th. That's $1,500, or I'm sorry, $1,800.
So we need to have a separate show on free money, right?
I'm sorry, a separate,
We
yeah.
need to have a separate show on free
Yes.
money, but
There's
that's another time.
doesn't
Yeah.
love free money, absolutely. And of course, some things come with restrictions, or it's not necessarily free. I always say read the fine line, but not that everybody will read that fine print. So that's why you have me to call. When if you're not sure, if you're not getting these direct deposits, there is a portal. You could actually go to the IRS website. It's just irs.gov, and go to child tax payments. There's on there where you could manage those payments. So you could say, hey, I want to opt out. If anything, I was reaching out to quite a bit of taxpayers in the last week, but of course I went on vacation. But I'll be contacting a
Good
little
for
bit.
you.
Yeah, I know, I needed it, as you know. So I've been telling some people to opt out. What that means is that you're telling the IRS, hey, I don't want these payments. The reason is that some of these kids are going to be turning 17, so they're no longer, the parent will no longer be eligible. That's one reason. Another reason is some parents share a child. They've been divorced, so they take turns. So the credit goes to the person that will claim the child in 2021. So it's going to be quite a bit of an issue if you're getting this free money, and you'll have to pay it back because you're not claiming his child. So, I mean, we don't have that issue, Jay, but it's good to know for taxpayers that have children, to just be careful. Again, ask me. What I've been doing with my clients, I just send them the link so they make sure they opt out of that, because, you don't want to receive money you shouldn't be, earning or getting. So and then there are income limits to that though. For single taxpayers, it's only if you make under 75,000. For head of household, 112,500, and for married, it's 150,000. Okay. of married filing joint income. So now there's another thing, unemployment. I've had this. I wouldn't say it was an issue, but it happened right in the middle of tax season, and of course, the IRS loves to make our jobs just a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
In the middle of tax season.
They like to make our lives a little more challenging sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. So what happened was that they expanded with part of the stimulus that they passed, part of the new tax law provision. They exclude the first $10,200 of unemployment income. What this means is, let's say you made about $20,000, the first $10,000 doesn't count as income.
You have $20,000 in unemployment benefit. Okay.
Yeah, in unemployment, because for whatever reason, people think that employment is not taxable. So they would check the little box to not withhold taxes. So that is an issue, of course, because you do have to pay taxes. It's not free income. So you just make sure you select the box. If you are still receiving, because there are still people receiving these unemployment benefits, make sure you check the box where they withhold taxes on it. But the benefit, at least right now, is that the first $10,200 is not taxable. Now, I had quite a bit of clients doing amended tax returns. And you're familiar with an amended tax return, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's basically just redoing your taxes and saying, hey, I forgot something, or I missed something, or a tax law change that benefits me. So I want to update it for it to reflect what is current to my situation. So I was doing quite a bit of amended returns, but for all the other people that just didn't, and they're like, wait a minute, because of this unemployment plus W-2 income, now I owe the IRS $1,000 or $2,000. This was happening quite a bit. The IRS just started making the adjustment. So they'll give you a check or the difference that you shouldn't have paid. So that's kind of nice that they're doing that proactively, not with everybody, but quite a bit of people are getting random deposits, and they're
that's
like,
nice.
hey,
that's nice.
Yeah, and so people are texting me like, hey, I got this extra $700,000 or whatever in my account. I guarantee the IRS, they don't make mistakes in giving you deposits. If they gave you deposits, it's because they calculated the amount to be correct that they owe you. They don't make it's very, very odd or rare for them to make mistakes. It does happen, but again, just always check with me. So I could always take a look at it. Some people get IRS letters and they say, oh my God, I took out money from my 401k, and it shows as it was all taxable, and it was really a rollover. So I always tell, my clients, just make sure you send me the letter, because the worst thing you could do is just pay them just because
Yeah.
you're scared of them, and not run it by me, because it's probably money that you don't owe. So you just have to be a little bit careful with that.
And if the IRS is going to borrow money from you like that, they don't pay much interest to you, do they?
No, very, very, very little. It shouldn't even count, for nothing. But if you owe them, you better believe that money starts accruing, and it's impounded interest that starts right away after, the date that it was owed.
And it's very large.
Yeah, and it's very large. And then that compounded interest could be sometimes a lot more, or a lot greater than the original balance if you just
Right.
collect. So you just have to be careful with that too. Another thing that is, it sounds small, but I always tell people every little bit counts, is there's a $300 deduction for charitable contributions. So whether you gave to Goodwill, church, whatever, you're eligible to take it too, Jay. You just basically, it's up to $300 for a single person. They did change it for 2021 that it's up to $600 for a married couple. So, I mean, the way that works is, let's just say you made, I don't know, $50,000, you minus that $600 directly off the top of your income. So it's as if you made, 49,400, so every little bit helps. So
does that limit the amount that you can give as charity that's actually going to help your taxes?
No. So this is for people that claim standard deduction.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry if I didn't say that. So if let's say you own a home and you do the itemized deductions, mortgage interest, property taxes, this doesn't apply. This goes for people that just do the standard deduction that don't own a home yet. But it's still a good credit to take. So I encourage any credit.
Every little bit helps, right?
Mm-hmm. Another thing, this is more for business, but it's kind of a neat thing, is business expenses like meals. Meals, they only give you 50% credit. Now they're giving 100% credit for that. So that's kind of neat, so I tell clients, save whatever you can on those business meetings. If you're not sure what defines a business meeting or not, also run that by me, because people think just them eating lunch every day counts as a business meal. Not.
Well, who would want to go out to lunch with me just to go out to lunch? I mean, it's got to be business, right?
Right. And it doesn't have to be a whole meeting, the entire hour or 2 hours of just talking about business. It could just be you giving an introduction. It could be more casual.
How about entertainment? Is that along the same lines?
No, so they eliminated entertainment last year for 2020. So yeah, that's unfortunate, because that used to be another good one that people used to write off, as long as it was meant for business. The other thing is, also for businesses, check with me, because it's too long to expand right now, and it's too many details, and it goes differently for everybody. But these PPP loans, EIDL loans, and again, we'd have to have a whole other separate, session for that, because those PPP loans, a lot of them are forgiven. So they're fully deductible too for those expenses that you did take. Again, I don't want to go too much into that, because I think it's a lot of information on that.
Yeah.
But PPP loans is something that I do have knowledge in, and EIDL loans, and it's been extremely difficult. I would say hasn't been that easy to get them now. I think it was last year. I think it's harder to get them now. Just the application process and going back and forth with the SBA. So again, clients could call me about that. Also, part of the CARES Act, I don't know if you remember, we did talk about it last year, that the 10% penalty on distributions, they waived that penalty. That was one benefit, but it only happened for 2020. And also you could divide the amount of distribution over 3 years. So if you cashed out up to 100,000, which that's the limit, up to 100, you could write off $33,333 over 3 years to add it to your income. So it's better than having that big hit to your income of
one time.
Yeah. And then they waived that 10% penalty. So it was a great thing for 2020. It already passed. You can't do this now. But for anybody that hasn't filed yet and they're scared to, because a lot of people, I think that's why I've never gotten so many extensions. I mean, in my professional career doing taxes, this is the year I've gotten the most extensions. I think because people are still scared of these cash distributions they did, or too much unemployment, or both spouses got unemployment,
Right,
or
right.
their child.
Complications in
Yeah,
life.
so many things. So again, there's no reason to be scared, only because you owe, you're not just prolonging it. You're prolonging also the interest and penalties that accrue for not paying it by May 15th this year. May 15th was the deadline this year. So I think people, it's just better to get it in sooner than later if you know you're going to owe. There's no reason to wait till the very last minute. But, I have very special people that come to me on October 15th at 6 p.m.
I
Don't
would never do that. I would show up on the 14th at 6 p.m.
Even the 14th, it's tough. It's very
Oh,
tough.
I know. I'm
Other
kidding.
CPA and enrolled agent friends, and we kind of laugh about that. Like, how are we supposed to? Because it's still a very overwhelming last
Oh,
tax
sure.
deadline of the year. So always give your taxpayer enough time. Your CPA, enrolled agent, or taxpayer, give them enough time to get them done before the deadlines. Because, like I said, these don't, the penalties don't necessarily go away. Also, a lot of people are working from home in 2020. Almost everybody that I know, starting in March, when they shut everything down.
Yeah.
People remained working from home all year. You can write off a portion of your office space, even if you're a W-2 employee. Some people didn't know that. Obviously, if you're self-employed, you could write this off. But even if you were a W-2 employee, again, check with your accountant to make sure you could write that off. So that's the other thing. Don't forget to claim those health savings account deductions. Those are still really great. The contribution limit for 2021 is $3,600, and for a family, it's $7,200. So again, this reduces your taxable income. If you made, again, as an example, 50,000, you minus 7,200, so you get taxed on 43,000, a little under 43. So make sure you do that. Let's see, what other things? The lifetime learning credit. This goes, oh, I forgot to ask you, Jade, did you have any questions through now?
I've got more questions than we have time to answer, but I think it's more important you continue.
Okay, so lifetime learning credit. There's a lot of people that have now gone back to school and getting now their master's or higher education. The American Opportunity Tax Credit is the biggest credit that a student can take, but that's only up to 4 years, and that's post high school. So it's for your undergraduate degree or your AA degree or whatever certification license that you're trying to get. Now, let's say you've already gotten your bachelor's and you've already used up this credit for 4 years. The alternative is to take this lifetime learning credit. They did expand the limit. Before, the income limit was only $59,000 for single people and $118,000 for married. They did increase it to $80,000 for single filers and $160,000 for married filing joint. That's a great thing to also take advantage. Ask, because a lot of people were taking, whether it was online classes or whatever it was in 2020. Make sure you ask. It's still credit. There's no reason why not to ask and why not take that credit.
The other thing you were asking about questions is this will be all recorded. And of course, you'll have a copy of that, and we'll take my face out of it. And, so people can listen several times to the same kind of thing. Just wanted to remind everyone of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the best thing to do, I always suggest to not be scared. Always ask, run things by me. If you have your taxpayer or enrolled agent you've been going to for a very long time, I always encourage people, you don't necessarily have to switch. You could always send it to me for review. A lot of people actually just pay me to review their tax returns, and it's only because maybe they're unsure or they're a little insecure about some things that were filed. But it doesn't mean that you have to switch necessarily. But I do get paid for quite a bit of just consultations, so I can do that too.
Second opinions are always good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I encourage it 200%. So yeah, definitely do that. Another thing for that that did pass. This was December 2020. Medical expenses, they go based on, it became permanent, 7.5% of your income. This only goes though if you itemize deductions. Some people say, well, how do I know if I itemize deductions, if I qualify or not? I say the rule of thumb really is if you own a home or not. That's really what kind of determines, because the standard deductions are pretty high. Standard deduction is just a credit that the IRS gives you just for being single, married.
Yeah, and they increased that with the latest
that one increased on, on all levels for single, married, head of household. So for 2021, it will be $12,550. For joint filers, is $25,100, and for head of households, $18,800.
Of course, if you own a home paying interest, you're probably going to, sweep past that pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. So if you're a single person, let's say, and your standard is $12,550, and your mortgage interest was $20,000 plus your property taxes, you're way over that $12,500 threshold. Or if you're married and you have the $25,000, well, between charitable donations, it's really only a few categories now, because they eliminated all the other, business mileage, meals. They eliminated all these things for employees. This is for W-2 people. So if your mortgage interest, property taxes, car registration, charitable donations, those are really the only main categories that you could write off now. And if they're over that standard deduction, so you will go that route. If you are over the age of 65, those.
How about over the age of 75? Any difference?
No, nothing extra there.
Okay, just thought I'd try.
They should. But yeah, for over the age of 65, the standard deduction does increase to $1,650 if they're single. Or if they're married filing joint, it increases to $1,300. Also for next year, capital gains. Some people have been scared that they're going to change as of right now.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least they're going to remain the same. It's 0, 15, and 20%. So that hasn't changed. So capital gains is, selling your home, selling investments, selling long-term assets. I also do those calculations, Jay, because some people have had rental homes and they want to move out of California, or their primary homes. And a lot of my clients have moved to Texas, as you know, Florida and Nevada, because there's no state taxes. So I have a ton of clients now there. So they check with me about capital gains, because they bought their home when it was maybe only $100,000 to $200,000. And now they're selling it for $700,000, because as we talked yesterday, California taxes are, pretty high on about everything. So people are afraid, well, if I sell my house for $700,000, I bought it for $200,000, there's a $500,000, how much am I going to pay for that? And I said, well, there's an exclusion, you're lucky. As a married couple, it's up to $500,000. So you pay zero taxes on that. Now, if you're single, as long as you, of course, meet the requirements, you have to have lived in the home for at least two years, or 2 out of the 5 years, they say. So you could avoid paying up to $250,000 if you're a single person.
Let me break in for a second, because we have only 1 minute until break time for the news. Okay. So for those people who cannot join us for more good news or good information, go ahead and give your contact information once more, and then we'll come back and continue.
Sounds good.
Go ahead, give that contact information, please.
Yes, 714, my cell phone, 714-457-6350. Again, 714-457-6350, or my website, www.eliasincometax.com.
Thank you very, very much. And hopefully, well, I know you'll be back. For how long? It just depends. We'll play it by ear or by mouth or whatever happens.
No,
but we're wide open.
Probably just, I would say, to wrap it up, is maybe just discuss a little bit of just some of the services I provide. And with that, great. I'll be good.
Okay, so we'll see you back here in a few minutes. And thanks so much. And everybody else, stick with us.